Welcome back. I'm your host, David Lesh. We at Today's Verdict want to hear from you, so send us your questions, comments, or show ideas to davidlesh@bronxnet.org, or post a comment on our Facebook page at facebook.com/today'sverdict. On today's show, we've been discussing the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy and how costly damages can be. Usually, property owners acquire insurance to minimize the cost of damages from things like downed trees, flooding, and more. But as a property owner, what happens when an insurance company denies your claim? What do you do, and whom do you turn to? Joining us today to answer those questions is New York and New Jersey litigation attorney Eric Dinnocenzo. Eric, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, David.
Trying times for people, and you know so many people are going to be putting in insurance claims. Do you think the insurance companies are even going to be able to handle the load? What are your thoughts just initially with respect to what's happened and the insurance environment?
Well, David, you're correct. The insurance companies certainly are inundated with claims, and they really do need to step up to the plate and have claims handlers available to be able to process and administer those claims. I anticipate that they will up their staffing and react appropriately, but time will tell, really, as far as how they do, in fact, react.
But do most people have the insurance that they need, by the way? I understand that flood insurance is tough to get, especially if you're on the coast. What happens to those people? What happens to those homes, whether you're in the Rockaways or down in Atlantic City, or what happens?
Well, whether or not they have the appropriate coverage, the answer really is it depends. It is true that people who live near the shore, near the ocean, they do need flood insurance. And flood insurance isn't available through your typical homeowner policy.
Now, why is that? Is it just because it's too expensive for the insurance company to make good on the claim?
It's a question of risk.
Okay.
Actually, there's a lot of talk in the media about the free market and that things in our society are best taken care of through the market, but actually in the case of flood insurance, insurance companies have stepped away from that, and they have made the decision that that's a risk that we don't want to cover. There's too much potential exposure. And so the federal government actually has stepped in, and it is the entity that provides flood insurance.
But do they give the necessary insurance? Do they provide enough coverage for you that a private insurance would cover, or no?
No,
not really, right?
It really doesn't, David. There are limits to the flood insurance.
Yeah.
So, for instance, for property damage, the limit is $250,000, and for the contents of one's home, the limit is $100,000. And keep in mind that that's only covering the actual damage, the actual value of the property.
Right.
That's not the replacement cost, which is something entirely different.
Now, you and I are in the field, so we understand what the term disclaim means. For the average viewer, what does that mean when an insurance company disclaims?
When an insurance company disclaims, it's denying coverage. It's telling its policyholder that it's not going to cover the claim that's been made.
Right, and that's when you possibly come in, am I correct? Or an attorney would come in and try and fight for somebody, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Why would an insurance company possibly disclaim during this type of storm? What would be a reason for disclaiming?
The reason would be that there was a flood, and that floods are not covered under typical homeowner policies.
Well, some of the insurance companies, do they ask that you notify in writing? Do they ask maybe that you even notify within a certain amount of time, or these are not usual reasons that they might disclaim coverage?
No, you raise an excellent point. Is that if there's a duty on the insured in these cases, say a homeowner, to provide prompt notice to an insurance company. It's actually built into the insurance policy. And so if a homeowner does not do that, there is a risk that the insurance company could disclaim coverage just on that reason alone, independent of the merits of their insurance claim.
Well, Eric, let's talk about what you might be able to recover from the insurance company. Do you get the actual value of your home, just the replacement value? What are you recovering?
Well, again, the answer to that question is it depends, meaning it depends what the policy says, what type of coverage the property owner has purchased. The property owner may have purchased just actual cash value coverage, where the property owner will only be reimbursed for the value of the property, that is minus the depreciation. So just to give an example, say somebody bought a laptop computer for $500 1 or 2 years ago, maybe the computer's worth $300 now. The insurance company, under actual cash value coverage, will only give you $300 for the value of that item today. Replacement cost insurance is different.
It's different.
Ultimately, the insured should be compensated for the value of replacing that item. So in the case of that computer, it would be $500.
By the way, where does somebody get a hold of you if they want to find you? What's your contact information? Where would they contact you?
They could go to my website, which is www.dinocenzolaw.com. They could also call me at 212-933-1675 or email me at eric@dinocenzolaw.com.
By the way, there's a certain term I want to have the viewers understand. The difference between risk-specified peril coverage and how that just affects coverage to begin with. What does that mean, really? What are you talking about with respect to that?
Well, if you look at property insurance, homeowner insurance, there are two different kinds. One is an all-risk policy, and what that means is that your policy covers everything except for specified exclusions in the policy. A named peril type policy only covers what is set forth in the insurance policy for covered risks.
Okay. One last question. Any tips that you want to give somebody who's watching right now in terms of insurance?
Absolutely.
What tips?
Document everything. Take photographs, make lists, document. Also provide notice to your insurance company and your broker by certified mail and also by fax, any means possible. Make sure you have proof that you've provided notice.
And call your lawyer. Eric, thanks for coming.
Thank you, David.
We have to take a quick break, but coming up, we'll use pictures to help better understand areas of criminal law. We'll be right back.